friends, and welcome back to my channel. It is Amy here, and today we are going to do another page in my favorite photos album. This is my monthly page where I document one photo a month. Really no journaling, and I use what is on my desk. So this is a project that my dear friend Stacy Julian suggested back in 2024. And I have had so much fun with it that I am continuing to do it in 2025. So if you have been around for a while on my channel, you've seen me document a lot of these, and we're going to continue, and we are going to do my favorite photo for March 2025. The album that I am using is actually an album that was part of the Story by Stacy line with Close to My Heart. It is no longer available, but it is a 6x8 size, and Stampin' Up! Has a great 6x8 album that you can use if this is something you might want to try. I always say when I do these videos, I highly recommend you giving this a try if you are not a memory keeper, but you have some favorite photos on your phone. I highly encourage you to print them and just do a really simple page. It doesn't even have to have all the bells and whistles. Just get it on, get it off your phone and onto a page, and then you can keep your album on a coffee table, and other people will get to enjoy these memories. I read a quote recently that said, "We are not printing our photos for us. We're printing our photos for those that we leave behind when we go into our next life, whatever that might be." Anyway, I have my favorite photo here. This is a photo of me and my two very, very dear friends who are also Stampin' Up! Demonstrators, who we met as Close to My Heart makers many, many years ago. And we roomed together at events. And so in March, we went to our very first Stampin' Up! On stage convention. It's kind of like a convention for demonstrators. And we somehow got the name 3 Peas in a Pod. I think that came about a year ago when we went to the Stampin' Up! Home office when Close to My Heart was closing, and Stampin' Up! Was welcoming us into their family. And from then on, we just referred to ourselves as the 3 Ps. And what was kind of fun, when we go to these events, lots of times demonstrators will give roommate gifts. And ironically, all 3 of us had pea in a pod theme gifts, and I guess our friendship colors are pink and green. So I am going to be documenting this photo. Now, I thought I was going to do a 4x4 size photo. I did do a little bit of pre-work before coming on live, and I am now doing a 2x, I think this is 2.5. I'll get my glass mat and we'll measure it, but I'm going to be using a smaller version of it. So let me clear my desk, get my glass mat, and we will get started. All right, I am pulling in my glass mat, which is a must-have in my opinion. I'm also going to pull in a desk pad, because what's cool is we dubbed ourselves the 3 Peas in a Pod, not knowing it, but Stampin' Up! Has this adorable stamp set called Sweet Peas. It's a polymer stamp set. I will list everything in the product description box below what I use. This particular stamp set, I think, is in the last chance section on my website now, as of the day of this recording, April 9th. which means once it's gone, it's gone. So if you like peas, you might want to scoop this up. And what I am going to do is some random stamping. So I just have a piece of scrap paper here because I want to teach you random stamping in case you've never done that before. So I've got one of my images on my block, and I'm using black Memento, which I believe is out of stock right now. It's out of stock everywhere, not just with Stampin' Up. The company is out of stock, so you can use the black Versamark pad if you have that. Any pad would do. But what I'm going to do for random stamping, I always stamp my image in the center, and then I rotate my paper and I stamp in triangles. So I've got 1, 2, so I'm going to put one here. Now, if you are using a stamp, so there's my triangle. So now I'm going to complete this triangle. So 1, 2, 3 here. If you are using a stamp image that you want it's going a certain way and you don't want it to be upside down, then just be cognizant of that. But if you have a stamp an image that it doesn't matter, there's no upside down or backwards or right or left, then you can, do them all different ways. But with the way I'm going to use this, I want all my peas going the same way. Although, the more I think about it, the more it probably wouldn't matter. But by doing the triangles, you can see that it magically has, it looks like a machine or a computer did it, that it's evenly spaced and you can go off the paper. And I find that doing the triangles really helps me to space out my images quickly and without a whole lot of thought other than the triangle. So I have this here, and what we are going to do next is color in these peas. And I'm still collecting, building my my collection of the Stampin' Up! Blends, and I do not have the green shades that I want it to use to match my photos. So I am going to use some of my tri-blend markers, and I'm just going to color a few of these in for you because I don't want to bore you. But what's nice about using the Memento pad is I can color right away. So I am just using a tri-blend marker. This is actually the green citrus blend. That's the medium color. And then I am going to go in like this with the dark and kind of just add some shadows. And then I will blend it with that mid color again. I will list in the description box below colors, the Stampin' Blend colors, which I have been very vocal saying how much I love the Stampin' Up! Cut and emboss machine. I like it so much better than the machine that Stampin' Up! Had. I love it because there's no dials that you have to change. You just use the different plate sandwiches. And what's nice about the Stampin' Up! Machine is those sandwich recipes are written right on the plate, so you don't have to worry about losing those suggestions. I didn't think I needed the Stampin' Up! Blends because I have all of the tri-blend markers, and I do love my tri-blend markers. Now I'm going in with the pea pod, and I'm using dull green blend, the darkest side. But as I started, I ordered a few of the blends. I think I used some points to get them for free. And I do love them. And so I am slowly growing my stash. But I didn't have the greens and the pinks. So I am using my tri-blends. And tri-blends are fine. I think you can use, there's purposes for both. But if you are new and are wanting some good markers, I do recommend the Stampin' Up! Blends. And the blends, they come in, like when you order a color, say we order Pretty in Pink, you'll get a dark marker and then a light marker. So you get two markers in each set, and you do the same thing that I'm doing here. But one thing that's kind of cool about the blends is you can actually splatter with them. And I've shown how to do that in other videos. I'll have to do a project soon where I demonstrate that. Or maybe I'll even demonstrate it now. I'll go get a blend and I'll just splatter on this. So you can see how I take the midsection, I'm coloring in the P, and then I'm taking the dark section and just coloring over where the shadows will be, where it would be slightly darker, and then I'll go back in with the mid and blend right over it. And then for the hat, I'm just using the dark side of my magenta blend tri-blend marker, and I'm just coloring in the hat. I'm not even blending. And then I use the dull green blend and color in the pod. The other green that I was using to color in the peas is the citrus green blend. So I'll just finish this one. Real quickly. And then I pulled in, this is the, no, I'm going to use this one. This is the Alpine Green blend, and I have the dark end, and I can go in and just highlight some of those details that were built into the stamp. So then you would color this whole thing up. And here's a sample of a random stamped page that I started to color. So you can see you can make your own DSP by doing random stamping. So how lucky am I that I just had an order delivered to my doorstep, and the Melon Mambo blends just arrived. So they arrive like this, and you've got a dark shade and a light shade. They are dual tip, so you've got the brush side and then the fine tip to color in small areas and or to write, and you've got it in the dark and the light. So here, let me grab a piece of cardstock. Here is the dark, and they're so smooth and buttery, kind of like the Stampin' Up! Cardstock. And then there is the light. So of course these are going to lighten up as they dry, but you can see the contrast. And then to splatter, I will just go ahead and splatter on this. What I do, I'm going to use the brush tip, and I'm just using my bone folder, and I'm just going to tap, tap, tap. And I don't know if the camera is picking this up, but I will hold this up for you to see. So this is kind of cool. It's a great way to get out frustration. I'm telling you, paper crafting is a really great form of therapy. But this is something that I couldn't do with the tri-blend markers. So hopefully you can see all those splatters. And splattering is just a nice technique to do when it's just a little too white and it needs something. So there is the random stamping. Alrighty, so now you can see here I have a bunch of these fun tags and keys. This comes from the Tags to Go, and I actually highlighted this, used this collection. I used the DSP in my February favorite photo. So these are the dies that go along with this stamp set. So these are all the images that come in the stamp set. And again, another thing I love about Stampin' Up! Is lots of times their dies are altogether different than the stamp set. So you can purchase the dies without the stamp set and vice versa. But one thing I do a lot when we're watching TV, I'll just grab my die cut machine and I'll die cut a bunch of things while we're watching TV, and then I have them ready to go when I need them. So how appropriate was it that I had a bunch of these already cut? So that's another thing about the favorite photo monthly page I do. It's all about quick, easy, simple, using what I have. So this was perfect. I did have the letters cut out to spell March. I've been using the mini alphabet die set. Again, this is another, I think, must-have set for any paper crafter. It's great for card making and scrapbooking. I love that you run this whole die through and then you get all of these individual letters. And so what I did, again, why I'm watching TV, I will take my adhesive sheets, which I thought I brought over here, and then I will adhere them to cardstock and then run the die set through. So these are actually little stickers that I can just peel the backing off, and they've got adhesive on them. Here are the adhesive sheets. They come in 6 by 12 pieces. So you can see I have a lot of pieces here. And what's neat is there's perforation on these, so it's easy to peel it off, just like that. And so what I'll do is, let me grab, well, here's a scrap. So I can cut a piece and let me cut it. I can adhere it to my paper. Now, if you're using double-sided paper, make sure you adhere it to the back side, the side that you want to stick down. And then I take my dies, whether it be the alphabet set or any die, and you will just put your paper down, put your die down, run it through your machine, and then you've made yourself stickers. So you can do that for any and all dies, which, you know, I probably could have done it for all of these, and then it just makes it easy to stick them on a page. But what I'll do is, since I did this, I'm going to stick this in with my adhesive sheets so I have it and I can use it for another project. So there's another tip. All right, so now I am going to bring in my 6 by 8 base page. So this is just this is actually the thick 8.5 by 11 cardstock. And then I have a piece of my pink cardstock. And what I'm going to do is I want to tear. So this is what's fun about double-sided paper, is you have that white core. And this is great for if you want to do sand or snow. Okay, and so I believe it was a 3 1/4 inch wide by 8 piece of cardstock, and I wanted it to be less than 3. So by tearing it now, it's just a little bit less than 3. So that is going to go like that. And then off camera, I had already had a random stamped sheet that I had colored, And I did the same thing. I trimmed it, and then I tore it, and I by accident cut it short, but this is where you can make your mistakes work to your advantage, because you can't even really see that seam. But we're going to take this and we are going to, I think I'm going to mat it on this. And this picture is, it's 2.5, it's a 2.5 by 3. And then my green cardstock is just 1/8 of an inch bigger. So I'm going to put that like this. But I thought it would be fun to tear a little bit of my base page. We'll do that. And then I can put this back like this. Put this like this. I can take some more of that random stamped paper, and you know what, we can make it work like this. So I'll have to color just a little bit more so that it's peeking through, or I could even use, I didn't like this because it was too busy, but I can, you know, do something like that. So I'll color some more and we'll add that. And then I thought I would just use some of my tags to embellish with. So, you know, we could go like this, and maybe like this and that. I don't like that pink on that. So maybe we could do something like, well, let me get all this adhered and then we'll play with the embellishments. How does that sound? All right, so I have everything adhered, and I went ahead and cut a strip from that random stamped page and just put it there. And I think that just adds to the uniqueness of the page. And then I went ahead and used my brand new Mambo Melon, say that 3 times fast, blend, and added some splatter. So I'm liking that. Let's go ahead and put our photo down. And then I'm thinking I'll use these 2 tags, and we'll just add that as some decoration. You can never go wrong with tags. And I am one that I don't like to leave the holes without anything in them. So I think I might stagger these a little bit. And then I pulled in some of my gold embellishment thread. So I'm just going to take my bone folder and put the thread in between my bone folder and my thumb and pull it through, and that helps to get the kinks out. And I'll trim that, and then we'll run that through those holes. So I doubled up the thread, and we will just, oh, so I have 4 ends, and then I am just going to run this through the tag. Like that. So I've got a loop. And then we will bring that through like that. And I kind of like that a little strangler came through, but that's okay. I like that look. And then we'll trim that. Oh, I need my snips. The snips is another thing that I have fallen in love with Stampin' Up. So we just have some little fray areas like that, and we'll stick that in And then I'll do the same thing with the pink. So pull that through, trim this, and we can put that like that. And then I thought I would just take some of these little bits. I love the little key. And we can add those there. And then maybe what I'll do for that, once I adhere them, and that's where those adhesive sheets would really come in handy. I'll take another little piece of embellishing thread, which this is from Close to My Heart, but any type of ribbon would do. You can do twine, ribbon, floss. And that's another thing I love about Stampin' Up! Is they have so many different types of embellishments. I'm gonna just, no, I think maybe we'll just do 2. And then maybe I'll just tie a knot. The reason why I chose gold is because the letters for March I cut using that brushed gold foil paper. It comes in a pack with gold and silver, and it is on the last chance. So I think then maybe we'll just add a little knot to that. But let's go ahead and adhere these. So I'm just going to put adhesive on each side. That way I can slide these down really easily. So I'm going to put adhesive on these. I think I'll go like that. And then this looks a little crooked. Let's see if I can put this up. And then we can add our little arrangement here. So I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive. Do one right here. Then we're going to add the white. And you could always stamp on these if you wanted to. Now this would be a perfect example that if I had done the adhesive sheets. I'm going to add adhesive to the key. Like that. So I put a little bit of adhesive on that key. And then I think that needs to almost be a little bit more prominent. Let me cut some more. All right, I decided to use some of this twine. It's white with gold. Again, it's just in my stash. And I needed something with just a little bit more thickness. I'm going to use my fine tip glue. And I just tied a little knot. And we'll put that there like that. I'm going to put the lid back on my glue so it doesn't dry out. Ask me how I know that happens. And I like that. And then I'm thinking I'm just going to do March like this. I think the H goes this way. And I think that will look cute because it's going to slide into my album on the left-hand side. So I'm going to start by using or adhering my H so I know how to replace the other letter. So I'm just peeling off that backing from my adhesive sheet. And we'll do the H there. And then I'm going to put my R down because that's the middle letter. I think the tags die set is so fun and very on trend right now. But they make a great embellishment for whether you're traveling or not. This has nothing really to do with travel, although we did travel to on stage, but it was the perfect little embellishment for this page. So again, to just reiterate what my favorite photos album is that I just take one photo each month from my camera roll, and it could be a favorite memory, a favorite thing that I did that month, or it could be a photo, like a really good photo that I love. And there's no journaling, and I'm kind of using what's in my stash or something that I've been wanting to use and haven't used. And adding it to the page. And it could be as detailed or as simple as you want. Oh, and then I think, why don't we take some of these hearts, which is also part of the tags dies. I think I'm going to do this green one in the center. And I can just go like that. They could go right under the photo, but I think I want them to go out a little bit like that. And since I don't have adhesive sheets on the back of those, I'm going to take my fine tip glue. And I'm going to take the putty side of my take your pick and put these here. And these hearts are kind of funky, so you don't have to worry if you are not exactly even. See how this take your pick tool becomes your best friend? There we go. I think that adds just the perfect touch. Let me close my lid again. And March 2025 is complete. So once the fine tip glue dries, I will add it to this album right there. And March 2025 is complete. If you are not a memory keeper but have favorite photos, I highly recommend you give this a try. It's so fun to look back at this, and I look forward to adding to it and even expanding, going to future volumes over the years. But it's just a really fun way to document some of your favorite photos or some of your favorite memories each month. One photo, one page, one and done. If you liked this video and could give me a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. And if you don't already subscribe, hit that subscribe button. It helps my little channel to grow. And I look forward to catching you on the next video. Bye-bye.